The final career media day, man. How does it feel just to, I guess, be going through these steps for what will be the final time?
A little surreal. It's kind of comes in waves. It feels like a normal fight week. All the pressure, all the obligations of fight week, cutting weight, repetitive interviews, thinking about the fight nonstop in the back of my head. But then every now and then it'll creep in like, I can't believe this is the last time I'm ever going to sit in front of you guys.
We had Brendan Allen in here a few minutes ago, and he was saying like he's staying at home all fight week, driving down here every day. Did you consider that, or is it a little too far, and do you feel like you need to be kind of here to lock in more?
Yeah, with all the stuff these guys stack on my itinerary, which is ridiculous and way too much, I couldn't drive back and forth like that multiple times. I flew in from South Florida to Lafayette. Me and the team stayed at my house for 2 or 3 days, trained at my gym, and then drove down here yesterday.
You had the face-off with Max yesterday, iconic location. I guess seeing him now after, some years and sizing him up for the first time, any takeaways from that?
That boy's big, man. No. It was just cool feeling, cool moment to do it in a place that me and my family had such great memories. Amazing that it's here in New Orleans and in front of that church. It's just an incredible way to end this thing.
Is the plan for Saturday with the walkout and Wayne and everything, is that all finalized? And can you give us some hints of what it might look like?
It'll be a little bit of James Brown, a little bit of Wayne. Yeah, Wayne's walking out with me.
Sick. So you're sticking with the James Brown team.
I mean, I have to, bro. Come on. I have to. I paid the cost to be the boss. So I can't, on my last one, I can't switch it up I can't go that far away from it. I need to hear that. I need to feel that vibe before I fight somebody.
Yeah, and last training camp, I know you had said at the start you want to do everything right, like cut out even the little bit of drinking, all that stuff. Now that you're sitting here and all the work is behind you, do you feel like this was what it needed to be for the final fight?
Yeah, I did. Not that I didn't check all those boxes in every other training camp. I just really, really focused. I'm 90-something days completely sober, no alcohol, no marijuana. I don't like the diet fad talk, but I've carnivore. Like, I hate tossing around keto, carnivore, stuff like that. But for probably 4 months, 5 months, I've been eating just, I guess, kind of like a carnivore, just meat and berries, little vegetables here and there. And, dude, I'm in the best shape. This is the lightest I've ever shown up to fight week. Incredible. So, yeah, I did everything right.
And in there on Saturday, Joe Rogan won't be doing the call, so Daniel Cormier, I think, will be doing that final interview with you. What's, I guess, that going to mean, especially given the Louisiana connection with him?
Yeah, closing it out with Rogan would be cool, but also DC, the legend he is, and the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame he is, just everything he brings is awesome to be able to talk to him when it's all said and done, another Louisiana boy in New Orleans. So it's special.
Yeah. And then just in terms of the fight itself, like I know you'd love to go in there and do something spectacular. What are you expecting out of Max? You said he looked pretty big when you saw him yesterday, so a lot of questions around his durability too after being knocked out for the first time. What's this fight going to look like in your mind?
Yeah, with the durability talk, it's tough to say. A lot of things play into that, genetics, lifestyle, all kinds of stuff. We'll find out Saturday night if that shot really affected him. That's my goal, is to find out. But I'm expecting another war. I've been saying this every interview and asked about this trilogy with Max. This is a trilogy spanning 13 years, and we've met at different points. We were different fighters, different men. So each fight has been so different. Even looking back to the last fight with him, there's little takeaways, but I think this is a whole different thing. So it's exciting, man. And Max is a legend, Hall of Famer, done incredible things in his career, and going to continue to do so. And a good person. So fighting him for the last one, it seems poetic. Me being his debut in the UFC, him being my last fight, everything's happening at the right time.
Dustin, we see fighters talk about retirement and saying like, they don't have stuff to fill their days and they miss it. But you're going out on your own terms and picking when you're choosing to retire, right? The sport's not retiring you, as you said.
Exactly.
So, but on Sunday morning, do you think you'll be happy to be retired?
I don't know. I got to go through it before I talk about it. There will be some. I think for sure I can say there'll be some relief of that weight on my back of fighting since I was a kid, always thinking about training, always thinking about my physical condition, what my opponents might be doing, what techniques are new, just not having that constant, I won't even call it a burden, that constant cloud in my head thinking about combat sports. I'm still going to train, I'm still going to stay fit, but I don't have to compete at the highest level. I don't have that hanging over me anymore. And it might be good, it might be bad, maybe I need that hanging over me, I don't know. I got to find out.
And obviously, leading up to this, I'm sure it's just like, let's talk about your career, let's reminisce about this. Does any part of that start getting distracting? Like, I'm not retired yet. I still have to fight Max Holloway on Saturday. So do you kind of get a little bored of, or kind of you're not really ready to reminisce yet?
I haven't really dived into that part of it, really sitting back and saying, wow, what a career. But there has been moments of things that I forgot about just because I've been fighting for a while, highlights that I forgot about, or moments throughout the fight weeks that I'll see a video of, and it's kind of cool. I really feel, because I don't view myself as that. I just feel like a normal guy, a fighter, chasing dreams. I don't look back and think like, oh, I did do some pretty cool stuff. But the love and outreach from fans and stuff has been incredible this last training camp. I've seen so many people. I feel appreciated. It feels good because I never like sit back and look at myself like that. I'm always chasing the goal. I never look at it. So it's been a lot of love, man. Yeah,
justifiably so. Last one for me. Let's say, coming to the last minute of the fight, you've been through a war, last 10 seconds, Max points to the ground. You have to jump the guillotine, right? You have to jump the ghillie right away.
Of course, bro. That's my plan, is to point down. As soon as we start swinging for the fences, double leg, let's grapple.
Dustin, what does it mean to you to have the Acadiana Lafayette community here literally and figuratively in your corner for your last bout?
It's amazing. I've been saying it all week. I don't come from a place with silver spoons, a lot of money. I don't come from that. So all the travels and fights that I've had all over the world, a lot of people don't get to go. A lot of people missed out some big moments in person. So to be so close to home where they can hop in their car and drive to New Orleans and have people in the arena, fans, family, friends that never got to see me compete live, for this last one is super special.
And has the reality really set in that this is actually going to be taking place in New Orleans, and it's the perfect setup for you to not only go out on a high note, but as well as have all of your friends, family, and team along your side?
Yeah, I kind of think about it here and there. Last night, laying in bed before I go to sleep, that was my first night checking into my Airbnb here in New Orleans and doing the paperwork. I'm like, wow, it's really happening. This is really, really happening. But I think it's just the right time. I don't want to get retired from the sport. I don't want this sport to chew me up, and I want to walk away. I don't want it to retire me.
Thank you, Dustin.
Dustin, do you think the fact that it being your final one and also the fact that it's here, do you think that adds an extra kind of sentimental component to the weekend?
100%, no question about it. Just being here in the vibe of New Orleans and knowing that it's my last fight, knowing that I have a great, worthy opponent standing across from me who's going to bring the fight, it feels special. It feels special to me.
Dustin, what's up, man? Before I even ask a question, just wanted to let you know, man, super grateful, appreciate everything you've done to represent Louisiana. You've done it the right way, and I just think that this is amazing, man, that you're down here, about to fight your last fight down here. It's just super dope, man. Some of your best memories growing up in Louisiana when you were a kid, does anything, come to mind?
As far as
just really not even UFC, not even fighting stuff, just growing up in Louisiana, maybe some things you did.
As it pertains to fighting, coming here to New Orleans when I was a young kid, I think 2008, I might have fought in the Superdome. Rich Clemente put on a show during a car show, and they were doing it in the Superdome. He set up a cage in the middle of the cars, and I don't know if there's ever been before or after another mixed martial arts fight in the Superdome, but in 2008 I fought in the Superdome. That's a crazy memory, man. Growing up in Louisiana, having everybody there and fighting in where I grew up watching the Saints play, that's incredible.
That's a legendary name too, Rich Clemente. People down here, we know Rich Clemente.
Of course.
What do you think makes Louisiana people so great? You know what I'm saying? So different. You know, what do you think it is about Louisiana people that's just so one of a kind?
Work ethic, you know, the grit we have instilled in us from a young age, or growing up where I grew up. You know, we're not scared to work hard and earn things. That I feel like that's been a huge part of who I am as a fighter and a man from being raised like that. Just the grit of the day-to-day grind.
Last question is, who is somebody that maybe isn't here no more that you wish was still here that could see you today in this huge moment where you're about to fight your last fight? You know, you've accomplished so much. Is there somebody that you wish was still here to see you today?
My grandmother.
Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate it, man.
Dustin, right over here. It's hard to imagine you're stepping away after the presence that you've had on the sport for the past close to 20 years, man. Do you think that down the road, I know right now you're focused on family, but down the road, what's the involvement going to look like? Can we expect to see you maybe coaching, open a gym? Do you look to give back to the sport at another time?
I would love to give back to the sport, but like honestly, starting from a blank slate or teaching kids, opening a gym isn't a passion of mine. I currently work with guys who are established and have a career, and if I can sprinkle something, add something in their game, help them out, I would love to do so. But I would also love to stay connected to the sport, working with ESPN or doing desk analyst work. You know, I've had a few times on the desk, and I really enjoy that stuff. So I definitely want to stay connected to the sport, and I'll never be all the way out. Even though I'm retired, my buddies own gyms around me. I'm going to be going back to American Top Team, seeing my guys, and I'm always going to be on the mats. So it's not a sport like a seasonal thing. This is it's a lifestyle. I'm going to be, until I'm old and gray and my hip finally gives out on me, I'm going to be on the mats learning stuff.
And last for me, I want to say congrats on your career, man. For me, a lot of my earliest memories involve you when I was, coming up watching MMA, and I don't mean to make you feel old at all, but when you think about the career that you've built, the legacy that you've built, what's maybe one thing that you hope sticks with this MMA community and something that they really remember about Dustin the Diamond Poirier?
That anytime you saw my name on a fight card or saw a fight of mine get announced, you knew it was going to be a war and I was going to leave it all in there. I didn't cut corners. I just took what I was given at that moment and made the best of it to prepare myself for those fights, and I always gave it my all, man. I just want people to remember me as a warrior.
Just a few things like outside of your fight. What was your reaction to Ilya becoming the new champ and knocking out Charles?
It's not that I didn't think he could do it or it would happen. I was just surprised like everybody else. You know, we never seen Charles put out like that. We've seen Charles stopped, but we've never seen him put out like that. And then just the streak the guy's on. You know, I'm a big fan. Anytime he's fighting, I'm watching. I keep saying the same thing, but he's everything he said he is so far, right? And he's still young. The sky's the limit. So he's him.
Who do you think should be next for Ilya?
Who should be next for Ilya? 55 has always been so cloudy at the top. Maybe Gaethje. I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch. You know, Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilya in person, but he seems smaller. I know, obviously, he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilya can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
And speaking of Islam, what's your thoughts on him moving up to welterweight?
He's a big guy. I think he's going to fill into that weight. He's a really big 155er. So I think his lifestyle outside of training camp is going to be a little more comfortable, and he'll fill into that weight class, no problem. He could be champion there for sure.
How do you think he does against JDM?
I think the beginning of the fight's going to tell the story, like how well JDM does at getting up, how well JDM does at keeping Islam off of his feet, off of his legs, off of the cage. It's tough to call that because JDM's a big guy, athletic. I'm excited about that. A lot of fun fights in the future.
Hi, Dustin. Chantel here. Can you settle the score? Who has better food, 504 or 337?
Depends what kind of food we're talking about. Because out here, this is Creole.
Gumbo.
Out there, 337. 337. You guys put tomato in your gumbo.
Hey, Dustin. Devin Johnson here. I wanted to ask you, as you return for your last fight, you return home, you're on the precipice of completing a trilogy against a fellow Hall of Famer. You also can go out as the baddest man. How ceremonial would this victory be for you?
It will be huge. It will be a dream come true. You know, my last fight, laid the gloves down in Louisiana. My debut in the UFC, I walked out to a Lil Wayne song. My final fight in the UFC, I'm walking out with Lil Wayne. I provided a beautiful life for my family, chasing this dream. I've learned a lot about myself. I've built businesses. I've built relationships with people that are going to be part of my life forever. Going out with that belt in Louisiana, not getting on a flight Sunday morning, driving home in a state where I live and reside, a state where I was raised and reside, is a storybook, a storybook ending. So if I can get my hand raised Saturday night, walk out of there with that BMF belt, I'm the baddest motherfucker forever, man.
And your nickname is the Diamond. You have personified that nickname with your razor-sharp approach to the sport. What does it mean to be known as the Diamond? Somebody gave it. Tim Crater, a former UFC fighter, gave me that nickname back when I had maybe 5-6 pro fights. I fought my whole amateur career and most of my beginning of my pro career with no nickname, and one day he just gave me that nickname, and it was fitting. Diamonds are created under pressure, and that's where I thrive. So, the underdog. Thank you, guys.